Hey, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of the Ramon Foster Show, brought to you by Rochelle Barnes. We need a slogan for Rochelle.
We do need one for her, man. She's back and glad to be back. And she already made some rules in the group chat and everything over here, DK. She's here for a good time and only a good time, only about her Steelers, man. What do you think about that?
I think that's just about right here. And no politics equals no politics, meaning that applies under any and all circumstances on this particular program. What Ramon wants to know is whether or not this team is a freaking contender.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Moan, if you think about the literal application of the term,
yes,
6-2, first place in the AFC North, a 4-1 record inside the conference.
Yes.
What are we talking about here? I mean, how much more do you want?
We're talking about belief. We're talking about hope, DK, and we're talking about shock too, because I did not expect Omar Khan to make the moves yesterday. Specifically, okay, the wide receiver run, that's your neighborhood horn right there too. I hear it in the background. The wide receiver position, right? Did not expect that. And I was like, okay, finally got a weapon. And then you back that up with Preston Smith behind it. Like that, DK said a lot about what they feel inside of the building. I know a lot of times we speak about what the fans want, DK. We are never really happy, are we? Not like the fan base is never happy unless you're going up and down a street for Super Bowl, right? That's all that really matters when it comes down to it. But inside of that building, I mean, quarterback change. We'll get more into it, DK. I can go long and long. You want to go ahead and start this show so we can get into it?
Oh, I don't believe that I'm the one that has that responsibility. I know how this works.
I got
we'll see whether or not it works. Actually, we'll do that.
All right, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. You ready?
I believe that I am. I believe that I am. All right. See, I figured out what this is. You have something set on your microphone.
Goodness.
Yeah, you have it. Yeah, it's not. You're ringing the bell just fine. What happens is sudden sounds and sudden spikes get shut off by the sound.
I got echo cancellation on.
That's the problem.
Do I have reduced mic background noise?
Take that one off too. Yep. Now watch. Yeah. See?
I laughed through the whole break.
There was never anything wrong with the bell,
Yeah.
The show persists, man. It's a lot like whenever, people say, where's Rochelle? Where's Rochelle been? Don't worry about Rochelle. Yeah. Don't worry about her.
We're worried about the bell is what you're telling me, huh?
No, I'm telling you, don't worry about any of it. It's all there. It's still Wednesday, which I believe involves some camels.
It does, because it is hump day. And by the way, I appreciate y'all sticking with us too, because Monday, man, I left my day job, DK, and I felt like crap. I told you I had a dentist appointment I had to go to. They worked on me real quick, and then, man, I've been dealing with a bug that has kicked my butt. So I'm back now. I missed the last 2 days of my day job too, so I wasn't just playing hooky this time.
But you seem fine
now. Yeah,
no, I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying you seem good now is what I'm saying. That's great.
Yes, now 100%, and that's where we're headed to right now. Is how good can this team be moving forward, DK? If we wanted to get right back into it, man,
let's do that.
The question on Mike Williams. All right, let's start there with him. He's another weapon, right? He's a big weapon too that enjoys run blocking. And what does Pittsburgh like to do this time of the year, DK? They like to get gritty. They like to get gritty. And because of that, man, you'll see a guy like him that will get his targets. You'll see a guy like him that helps this Arthur Smith offense like continually deceive people. And what I mean by that is when you got a guy that's big enough that can catch the ball when he's available, DK, that will also run block for you at the wide receiver position, that's where the Najee runs go up. That's where protection for Russ goes up a little bit better. That's where Jaylen Warren like goes up, right? That's this time of year. The assistance of making 5-yard runs into 20 and 25-yard runs. So we've seen pop for Najee a little bit more this year. And also throw this in there too, just on the offensive side of things too. if you're ever going to do it this year as far as making trades and trying to solidify your team, one, making the change to Russ. I think we all see that coming together a little bit more better right now, considering the move they just made, considering what he's done for the offense. And here's the other thing, too. Najee, to me, is I feel like the focus point of all things, DK, when we speak about this team so far. Because here's what we do know. Najee's not under contract next year. From my understanding, franchise him either. Right? So he goes into the free market. And you got a premier player right now that's playing lights out as it pertains to how he's running the football and just his overall impact on it. So why not go get more weapons to maximize him? Like, it's okay to say Jaylen Warren can be the guy next year. You know what I'm saying? As far as like having a premier back. But Najee is that guy, and I think he's shown us time and time again this year. I hope he considers re-signing back. But I do think it's weighed upon all things with Najee because at the end of the day, if he's able and capable of running the ball, that makes Russ' job that much easier. You know why? The concept is there, DK. He's had Najee before, so much so that he acts just like the dude that was him, and it's Marshawn Lynch. Best Russ was with Marshawn Lynch when he was running angry. And right now you have that. So as much as we speak about Russ, as much as we speak about this trade for Mike Williams offensively, it's so that the run game can capitalize on everything that's through the air. And that's all because of Najee to me. And then, of course, Jalen's a nice compliment. That's my spiel, DK. Where are you at on this one?
Well, I'm going to look at the other side of the football, Moan. Because to me, when you're talking about true contention, when you're talking about looking at the way the Steelers compare to the teams that those of us who didn't have to cover a football game this weekend were actually able to watch.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I got Red Zone. Okay.
I hate Red Zone. Go ahead, though.
No, but see, for someone of my personality, and I still kept doing stuff. I still kept working and still kept preparing stuff and everything.
And that's
right?
what I've heard.
Yeah. So here comes Red Zone, which is just perfect because every other 3 seconds, someone's going, oh, I'm going to take it to the house and whatever. You're going, this is great, man. But I need a little bit of a break here. So you start working again, whatever else. And the next thing you hear is, somebody else is taking it to the house or there's some other city. This was in the 4 o'clock time slot. So you get all these games are going on at the same time. It's fantastic. Yeah. But when I watch these teams, even watching Kansas City on Monday night, I say to myself, look, I don't want to sit here and compare the Steelers to the Chiefs. Okay, that's a little weird. Okay?
But I get why we have that conversation. That's fair. Yeah.
But when you watch them and you see they've got a plus 56-point differential, which is way below what the Steelers have, and you say, man, what is it that the Steelers can't do here? Okay, it's not the way it used to feel even a year or two ago where you'd go, all right, well, hey, everybody, the Steelers made the playoffs and they're about to go up to Buffalo and lose by about 30. Okay, this isn't that. Okay, this actually feels like they're kind of right there. They could beat any of these teams. The reason for that is the defense.
Yeah.
The reason for that is the defense. The defense is already at this level, number 2 in points against. Okay, on an average basis. And yet they'll tell you they're nowhere near where they can be. And now we're talking about Preston Smith becoming a part of this group from a depth standpoint as well.
And you know what? And a lot of people probably scratch their heads like, Preston Smith? Where? Why? How?
Not you.
Not me. We played this guy in Washington and in Green Bay. So I always speak about today, like Wednesdays, right? Hump day, where we reset the week. And anytime Preston Smith, ever since he was a young guy, was on a team that we played against, Coach Tomlin put him up on the big board and acknowledged him and for the type of player that he was. Honestly, I think he's a good bit like a different version of Lamar Woodley, somewhat very similar. So I think they had a tab on him that if he was the type of guy that was available to the Steelers, they take him. And Coach Thomas always had that affinity for those types of guys, man. He never shied away from it. Like, hey, young man, I like you as a player. I admire your game. We've seen him do those NFL films, right, where he's gone up to guys and spoken about how they were on him. So given the opportunity where you have a team good enough or you think that is good enough that can go get a guy like him at a very low cost, DK, you make that move. This is where the nerd side of Coach Tomlin, to me, shows up. This is where also the fan side that every coach has shows up in those moments. What is a missing piece? Well, you got Alex has had a little bit of an injury. TJ the last couple of years, this time of the year, DK, has had something show up. And what way to better solidify your team than to go get another veteran that can play a similar style that TJ does. And if you have all three for the rest of this year and throughout the duration of the playoffs and on the way to the Super Bowl, DK, I think what happens is, like, you got a real shot to have one of the best defenses, at least rush plans, to where other teams don't have that luxury. And this is the other part of it too. It becomes so much of a headache of having to be able to just rush with 3 or 4. I go 4 and maybe a 5th, okay? To where now you can just sit back in coverage in this very pass happy league that we live in now, DK. You can rush and legitimately have a threat. Even if you don't get home, you might have to keep 6, maybe 7 guys in, because the threat of Cam, okay, Preston, TJ, okay, Alex, and whenever you get Nick Herbig back, I ain't even mentioned Keanu or Larry Ogunjobi.
No, you didn't. Yeah, I know. There's a lot up there.
There's a lot.
And you don't have to blitz.
So that's the point, right? And you get Cam Sutton back, right? You don't have to blitz, DK. And that's where you can make a guy like Patrick Mahomes stay in the pocket. And that's where he's less dangerous to you, DK, keeping him boxed in. Or Josh Allen. Okay, you want to run out to the side? Now we have guys that can go get to you. Like, it's a build-up. But Preston being in that defense, I'd love to have been on this team with a guy like him and knowing that, like, a lot of dudes like him, and I've played against guys that said, man, I wanted to play in that Steelers defense. Like, now he gets a real opportunity to do that. And Green Bay wasn't shabby, and what he did in Washington wasn't either. But I know a lot of, like, defensive players and fans of the game admire what Pittsburgh does defensively and just the history of it, too. So I'm hoping it really works out.
I like the depth that was added. I like the experience that was added. I like the fact that I know that the head coach will be ecstatic by having people who have extensive experience in stadiums. That's one of his big things. Yes, I guarantee you that in addition to having his own long-standing really respect and admiration for the way Williams plays the ball, for the way Williams plays the game.
Yeah.
He's had, according to you, the same thing regarding Preston Smith, hasn't he?
Yeah. He has, DK. And
did he used to talk to you about him and everything?
As far as Preston goes, or as far as Mike Williams goes?
Preston, yes. No, that's the thing about it, DK, is it's always fascinating to see this come full circle. I tweeted about it yesterday, man. And again, understanding the types of players they are too, right? Like you just said, the veteran side of him, the expectation that he's on a team that look like they're a little bit reeling right now as far as the NFC North goes. And it does set you up to go against Cincinnati, right? Cleveland and Baltimore. I don't think you've ever seen him as far as Preston Smith. He's not a small guy, right? He's not like Cam Hayward size, but the ability to play physical football in the AFC North, Coach T has an affinity for these types of guys. And I'm sure that coaching staff can't wait to get him inside of the building, DK. This will be fun. And I saw somebody say a second ago, like, this is where the gauntlet of this schedule starts to hit. It was for a reason, 100%. And before that point, too, I don't want to say this defense was somewhat fragile as far as hoping nobody got hurt, because I think they do got good depth, but this really does put you over the top as far as depth goes with bringing in Preston Smith. Guys, when we come back, we're going to engage in a segment that, as Squatch Watcher here points out, is known as the, it's the one segment that actually matters.
And that's Hey Moan, DK. We'll be right back.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Check this one out. This is all yours. Go ahead.
It goes, Hey Moan, Cam Hayward on his podcast.
That's why it's all yours. Go
I know where it's going. Hey Moan, Cam Hayward on this podcast mentioned a prank in the O-line room where some tires went missing and your name came up. Care to fill in any blanks, man? One, there's no hazing in the NFL. Let's just start there, okay? We're free. I messed up my word right there on that gift. But here's the thing about it. There is a little bit of coy and play that goes around in NFL locker rooms, man. I'll just leave it there as it pertains to young guys. When I mention culture and I mention like respect of what you're supposed to do inside of the building, like there is a line you have to walk until you get to that point where you can create your own lane and get your own group. And that was one of those situations where a guy had to learn the hard way in good fun. That's why I say walking into like our locker room is one of those things where everybody has to buy in, despite what the outside noisemakers say as far as Coach Tomlin not having control of the room.
So Ramon wants to wish everybody a happy Humo Day. You're already getting grief for this.
I am, DK. Yeah.
They don't have camels for Humo Day.
No, they do not have camels for that day, man. But the intent was great right there, though. It's the spelling that threw me off, and I was trying to read the question. But if I'm not mistaken, that was BJ, man, and he just had to learn some the hard way, man. It's like that though, and Cam's the last person to speak about somebody doing something to young guys.
Yeah, what's that all about?
I can't wait to see him.
There's something about a pot and a kettle in that equation, right?
Yes, pot calling the kettle black right here is exactly what Cam did, man.
Just checking here. Mr. CJ wants to know if it's hummus day as opposed to Humo Day.
I do enjoy good hummus, okay, with some good pita bread. Absolutely, DK.
Yeah, Randy Wagner also wants to come in and wish everybody a happy Humo Day. Hashtag Humo, says Master of Music. Look what you've done here.
You know what's crazy? It's as crazy as this last year has been for us. We probably needed that little flip right there, DK. We needed that.
The Humo?
Yeah, we needed
Yeah, we're
that,
there.
Man.
We're there. Here's how this works, guys. We have members here on this show. We have 811 of them right now. That number fluctuates quite a bit because of the generosity of people like Rochelle. What happens, she'll come in, she'll buy a whole bunch of gifts, and like she did today, she'll buy 50 of them, and you'll go, wow, that's absolutely incredible, whatever else. Those things only last, respectfully here, those things last a month, and then you've got to become a member yourself. So if you don't pursue that further, then the number goes down. So we're at 811 right now. I saw somebody earlier here asking the way that you can become a member of this program is to do this. I'm typing it onto the screen, and no, I'm not typing dog for the millionth time. It's I just gave you the wrong one. Hang on, I'll do it again. Ignore that. Here at dkps.net/join is what it's called.
Come on.
Or you see a join button on the desktop.
And then you just find the join button on the desktop, says the boss here. You can do either way. It's not going to appear to you on the phone. It'll only be on your desktop or laptop.
Right.
So that's how that rolls. In case anybody's wondering what we were talking about there as it relates to Rochelle and gifts and everything else, that's what it actually is. Now, are we ready? This is going to get serious. All right. Mr. Pittsburgh Hornet says, hey, Bone, what share of the passing attempts Sunday in Landover will go to the tight end this upcoming week? And I'll be more specific. What percentage of those will go to the tight end that you want them to go to? Pat Fryermuth.
That's what I was wondering, DK. Well, here's what I do know is Mike Wilson is a guy that plays in that vicinity around close to the line of scrimmage. Having him having the ability to pull either that slot corner or another linebacker away to cover him up should free up a guy like Pat Fryermuth. And again, DK, you mentioned that. I think we did the show last week as far as like Pat just saying, look, man, I'm happy just to do my job and we won. But here's what also happens in those moments. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, okay? I'm sure Pat wants to be involved in this offense, and this was a good portion of trying to make sure that he get his touches too, because he is a mixed match. But here's the thing about it. You can't put Pat in situations where he has a better corner on him because there is no other threat on the field that frees Pat up to go up against either a linebacker or a guy that's not that much experience. So that's where our big threat, as we said, like Mike Williams, comes into play. How many reps that is or how many touches, DK? I don't know, but it should help free him up.
Yeah, it absolutely should here. Joshua Dobbs reminds us that between Cam Sutton, Nick Herbig, Zach Frazier, there's a lot of guys that are going to be working their way back into the mix. Don't assume that all of them are going to be back. Just because someone like, for example, Cordero Patterson gets back on the field doesn't mean necessarily that he's trending toward playing Sunday. Mike Tomlin hasn't ruled any of them out. Go ahead.
I got to go and I want to put up Sam. Sam puts up here, Russell Wilson is 5'10". He's not throwing over the middle. Lie. That is a lie. Even if it's not over the middle, like the idea that routes will cross the middle and Russ will hit them, he has the ability to do that. Russ takes a long drop back. All Russ needs is guys to be friendly to him around the line of scrimmage as far as throwing across the middle. I think when we say throwing down the middle, we think like throwing down the middle of the goalposts and seams. Like, no. Throwing across the middle is moving chains and having guys available, which is what Pat would do. And the guy, if you look at his tape, that's what Mike Williams does now in his career.
For longer than I think any of us can even recall, Russ has had no issue doing this because Russ creates his own lanes. Russ moves to the lane to see what he needs to see. Or he'll just go at what he actually sees. Either way, he's operating off of what's there. I expressed some concerns about this earlier this season myself, but it wasn't related to Russ as much as it was to the line. If the line couldn't block for him, it was all going to collapse on him, Yeah,
it was. And I got a question for you real quick, DK. So we're speaking about Mike Williams in the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
We got an update on Roman Wilson?
Oh, just we got to stop talking about him. That's what's got to happen.
Only reason I ask is because others are asking, do we expect Mike Williams to be out there this weekend? And I'm just like, oh, okay, which one is it?
Yeah. No. Mike Williams and Preston Smith are both going to be out there this weekend. This isn't baseball, as you know, Moan. This is like you show up, you don't get the 2 or 3 days of that are mandated in the players agreement, and I just got to get my swing where I need. Man, there's only 17 of these things you're playing.
That's true.
That's true. No, they'll be out there. Kenneth Moses wants to know, hey Moan, how do you fix Broderick Jones? Do we dip back into the offensive line pool in the upcoming draft? Moan, what do you do? What do you do with a young struggling player, but who just so that we have fair context here regarding Broad, who has good intentions and who has talent? This isn't like you're trying to coach up somebody who's hopeless and who stinks. Right. This is a guy who has the ability and has the want to.
He does. Every player somewhat goes through this either early in their careers or midway through it, man, where you're just in a funk, right? And that is where I hope he is at, okay? Because here's the answer to it, especially for his position. Just work and capitalize on good moments. There is no other way what he's going through than work, having the willpower to like understand what he's going up against and capitalizing off of good moments. This isn't college anymore, right? You don't have people who are younger than you that you can just bully, and he's got to just realize that. And DK, it's work. When we were struggling as an O-line, the only thing that made you better was physical practices, right? And watching tape and just saying, I'm going to shift my mind to the positive things. And that is very kumbaya of me to say, but that is the only way you can make it out of what Broderick's got going on. I see somebody say he's got anxiety or panic attacks. No.
Oh, come on.
No, and no. DK, I don't want to hear that, y'all.
We're also, because none of us are qualified to make that kind of a judgment. That's something that professionals do. That's one of the things that makes me a little bit cringy is whenever people start saying, get him a sports psychologist. Oh, you don't know that. You don't know. He just might not be feeling good about himself or his game.
Yeah, and I would just say, there's no need to go draft nobody. You got 2 number 1s right now, and Troy Fautano and him. Like, seriously, you make him work this out, and as much as you can protect him for the moments that he need protected, and let him know that, look, we got your back. Like, that's where you at right now, because who else do you have behind him, right?
That's the issue here. I said Dylan Cook, and then they moved Dylan Cook out. So I, there really isn't anybody there.
He's ours.
And you got to get the best of it. You know, Ramon, you brought up at the opening of today's show contention. You brought up whether or not the Steelers are contenders. Okay, that's your theme for the day. And all I'll say to that is part of contention is making sure that you're maximizing the ceilings of your talented players. Okay, you can't have someone who's as important as Broad, first round pick, you traded up to get him and all that other stuff, and was actually that good last year. That's the part about this that you can't go dismissing. Okay, he, as a rookie, we never said his name. We just said, oh yeah, look at Broad, look at Broad. 2024 comes along and we're all like, oh, should we draft another tackle? Hang on a second here, okay? They have to get the best out of this guy. Ideally, he doesn't hurt them along the path. You know, ideally, there's just a gradual improvement and everybody's supporting him and the veterans. Well, there's not many of those left, but Isaac Seumalo or Dan Moore can come over and say something nice. Okay, but he's got to. He's not optional, is what I'm saying.
No, he's not. He just simply got to work through this. It'd be one of those things. Somebody have a talk with him, be like, "All right, bro, it's on you now." Like that's just where it's at. I got your back, but it's on you now, and I'm here to support you, man. That's where I'm at with Broderick at this point because I'm with DK. The will to and want to is there. Is it not? I'm sure you talk to him here and there, DK. It ain't like he wants to have these penalties or bad plays. I'm here for him busting through this.
No question here. Jay Moods wants to know if there's any update on Cole Holcomb. Holcomb is still he's still a variable here. He's trying to work his way back. Nobody's ruled it out. I do ask the other inside linebackers about him, and they all say the same thing. Yeah, Cole's coming along, but you got to understand, guys. That was an injury and a half. Okay, that was. Yeah, and now as I say it, now everybody's remembering it and going, why'd you have to bring that? Why'd you have to bring that up? But that's how it is here. Victor wants to know, hey, Moan, is the Steelers secondary in a position where they can play Minkah Fitzpatrick ball now that Cam Sutton is back? Just to real quick, I'm not going to presume that Cam's going to be out on that field. It sure sounds and looks like that'll be Beanie Bishop. So I don't know that changes anything.
There was, I started, I think, a question earlier too, or hey, Mon earlier too. I go ahead and get a 2-for-1. Paul asks, would you start Cam or Beanie? Beanie's a guy, right? He's made too many plays for him not to be the guy. There's new stars born in this league every year, right?
Yeah, you said last week the whole moving train thing. You know, you called that before anybody did. There was Beanie's, he's already on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And here's the thing too. Who was that asked the question a second ago? I already think I already think Minkah's been playing Minkah ball. Minkah has been around the football. You didn't really see him in a box too much, like making run tackles. Like think about the play he made 2 weekends ago where he knocked the ball out on the sideline on an obvious catch. Like
he waited for the guy to catch the ball so that he could send it 12 rows up.
Yes, so Minkah's back to already playing Minkah ball. It's a matter of getting everybody else on the same page and making sure that rush up front, along with Preston Smith, gets to the quarterback. That's where it gets super dangerous for Minkah because quarterbacks going back, throwing the ball in the air is where you find Minkah capitalizing, man. So, yes, I already think he's there.
Good stuff here. Carol wants to know, and I know that there's a reason for this, whether or not Alejandro Villanueva paid you a visit this weekend.
Yes, he did, man. My brother. Yeah. Man, we hugged like 4 or 5 times, okay? Like, it was insanely good. He came in to watch his son. That's what I'm calling him now. Like, he might stay at my house, Mason, but that's Alejandro's son, man, as far as their relationship goes. They're just super tight. But yes, I did see Al. It was good vibes, man. He's crushing it, and everybody's doing well. His son's playing baseball now, I think, too.
But the more sports, the better. Jason Williams has a good one for you here. He says, hey, Moan, what is the locker room like for a position that was traded for by the team? For example, the wide receivers room right now, when you bring in a Mike Williams, what's that environment like? What's that first day like? What about the first time that dude walks in the room? What's that like? You're looking at somebody who might be there to take your job, and you're supposed to be all happy, right?
Man, that's a great question, Jason. It's welcoming first and foremost. Everybody's, of course, it's the new guys, like being a new kid in the classroom. Everybody's looking like, okay, I see him, and trying to figure out your way to go intro yourself to him and welcome and say, hey, you're a Steeler. Let's get to work. Like, that's usually how it is with us in that room. But it's also the question in back of, I know it'd be in the back of my mind and others, okay, how you going to help us? And when are you going to help us too? There's pressure in being the new guy. So you try to make a guy like Mike Williams or Preston Smith be comfortable as they possibly can and show us why you were traded here. And that's where it gets kind of sticky for the newbies, man, that go to either situations that aren't as good as the Pittsburgh locker room where you're forced to make plays. I don't think Preston Smith or Mike Williams will be forced to make plays. It's just show us why we traded for you.
Yeah, I think more than anything else, the vibe that I've gotten in these settings and just talking to players out in the locker room, which is not the same, obviously, as the scenario that Jason just asked about, is that, hey, he's making us better. He's getting us and me one step closer to a Super Bowl. So we'll welcome that. We'll welcome that management feels this way about us, that they would part with a couple of draft picks to bring these guys in. And that's the message that you want in that room, isn't it, Mo? And that's like you want to know that Art Rooney's with you. You want to know that Omar Khan is with you. You know Mike Tomlin's with you. He's at field level. But you want to know that the guys at the top are saying, hey, let's add some depth here.
And it's cool too, DK, because like you're at a spot to where you made trades at the trade deadline that solidified what 6-2 says. You're trying to contend for a Super Bowl. You're not just trying to be good. Like, you want to win the AFC North. And we said this at the beginning of the season, though, DK. Did we not? We mentioned as a lot of folks are speaking about Coach Tomlin's job. And I said, if you're going to make a push, it needs to be this year. We talked about that as far as pushing chips in the middle of the table.
Yep.
And right now, I didn't expect it. I was shocked. But I'm glad that they set themselves up to be in this position.
Now, here, I'm happy to say that Ramon has no experience to be able to answer this question, because James Galloway says, I wonder how it feels for Mike Williams to walk into a new room and join a winning team. You know why Moan has no such experience? 11 years in the National Football League, all 11 of those as a starting left guard, all 11 of those in one uniform.
And also either 500 or better each year. I can tell you about disappointment, right? I think the team that he was with had a lot of disappointment.
Some people call that the Mike Tomlin streak. Around here, we call that the Ramon streak.
Yeah. Well, that's also that too, DK. But good for him, man. I'm sure he's glad to be out of that crap show in New York. So kudos to him, man. Should be motivated. I saw one wide receiver on Monday Night Football be very motivated, and DeAndre Hopkins, because he
made
even
some plays.
And you know what he even said? Man, it feels good playing for a contender. Like that, like fans of this team here in Nashville hate to hear that, but like meaningful football does matter to players. Like nobody goes into a season wanting to lose.
That's human nature. And I thought a lot of the same watching D-Hop and watching how he's working a little bit extra harder, because he's got Patrick Mahomes. Man, he's got to think that every play he's got some chance to make a big impact on his team and have his teammates come around him and say, hey, you're awesome, as opposed to either A, not getting the ball, or B, doing it in a losing cause. It's not the same thing. Let's see here. Jason has a good one here for you. Says, hey, Mo, what was your favorite play as a player?
Favorite play as a player? 22 double.
What is that?
It's a gap scheme without pulling. It's being able to double team the front side, block back on the back side, and create a gap on the front side where the running back goes up, where a fullback leads forward to. It's gap scheme without a puller. What that does is set you up to beat your man up inside of the box on the inside zone. And there's nothing they can do about it when you're good at get hip to hip with your tackle and move a man. And know that the tight ends are blocking straight up to the front side backer. Center's blocking back with the backside guard. And tackle and tight end are sealing off on the backside. You have a front side fullback leading up and a runner behind him. That right there is my favorite play. I love counter. I love gap. But 22 double, a gap scheme without a puller, absolutely takes the soul out of defensive linemen.
It fit your skill set, your frame, your everything. Like it was made for you.
Yes, it was, DK. And
all right. I'll ask your least favorite play then, because you knew I would be the one to do that. The one that you felt was like the worst possible fit for you.
Man,
you can't say pulling because I saw you pull.
No. Yeah, I know. This is
okay.
It won't even involve me. I just hate the structure of it sometimes. There's no real way to really set it up. You just hit it or you don't. Let's go 28 zone reverse left with a tackle puller. Like, let's say everybody else going 28, left tackle goes 1, 2, 3, and then pierces out left for a screen left. So 28 zone screen left, where you have Al running to the flats to clean up a DB. Is either blocking the back or the DB recognizes the play so quick that like they diagnosis for a tackle for loss. I hate those plays, DK. You either need to just throw the quick screen and not involve the offensive lineman, or just don't run it at all. Like, I absolutely hate that play.
The best part about these answers is like right now, there are exactly 5 people who are watching this who are going, oh yeah, that, yeah. And they're like, it's like Mike Munchak, Marquise Pouncey, David DeCastro, Al, okay, Marcus Gilbert, and the rest of us are all going,
Hey,
Wanderwagon gets it. Says Moan is a classic offensive line bully. He's looking for that look in the defensive lineman's eyes that says, I hope it's not another run play. Guys, to swing this into the present, Dan Moore tells me he's seeing that look in the fourth quarter from all of the Steelers' opponents where they're all going, seriously? You're going to run again?
Stop.
Mercy.
When they won't, this is what, because there's nothing better than breaking the soul of a man in sports, y'all. Like, DK, look, like, when I look at you like this, and I give you the head nod, and I say to you, like, you can't look me in my eyes in the spirit of competition, DK, there's nothing more satisfying. That one, I got another one, too.
No, not until you address this. Moan did not just tap out, LOL. And I know he's referencing Indianapolis here. There's some tapping out. You'd better be limping.
Yeah.
Okay.
You better be limping.
You better be limping.
My gosh, what a
you
play
knew what
from
I was
the
getting
guy.
at.
Oh my gosh, how silly is that, man?
I mean, I give him credit for being honest, at least. You know, he's just like, I just didn't have it. But quarterback?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, as far as the quarterback, I guess we can talk global NFL stuff. As far as the quarterback and their conditioning, they're the last persons ever to say I'm tired. Because even Lamar Jackson, on a long run, you know what he does? Hand the ball off the next play. Hand it off again, catch his breath. Like, there's ways for you to catch your breath. There's no ways for anybody else to catch your breath, especially not his offensive lineman. That is probably one of the most flagrant things that he could have did, man. Yes, alter ego. Or another one, DK, I got you. Like 3rd and 23 or 3rd and 10. Like, I hate those plays too. Although I enjoyed them because I was really good at pass protecting. I am tooting my own horn on that one. I didn't mind it. I just hated it because the situation of making the first down was just hard.
True story. 3rd and 23. Steelers turn around and hand it off to somebody, and I would make fun. And I would on social media, I would make fun of the play. I would say, "Oh, draw play to Veron, draw to Veron Hayes, who was okay." And just once, Veron actually tweeted back at me, like right after that. He said, "Thanks for remembering me, man."
Really?
Like, yeah, it was so funny. Because I would use the line all the time: "Draw to Veron," and it's like, here's Veron Haynes. That's great stuff.
It's such a beat you up play. Even the draw, you know what I'm saying? It's such a beat you up play. You're just like, oh man, I'm just laying myself on the table right here to just get beat up for 5 yards.
Lifted Ones wants to know, hey, Moan, who are we rooting for in the Bengals-Ravens matchup this week?
I go Ravens. I'll be honest with you. I respect the Ravens more.
You just want to bury Cincinnati?
Yeah,
are we talking from a standing standpoint? Okay.
No, I'm just
take one of them and knock them out.
Yeah. Go ahead and I'm Ravens on this one. It just makes sense to me. I mean, you're going to get the best version of Baltimore anyway. So why are we going to run from wanting them to win or lose? Like, the Browns already got them. I just don't see that's going to happen again.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about here because I see what you're saying here, because Mike has your back and he says that it's whoever has the worst record because you get to knock one of them out. But Casey Kester wants to see the Raisins lose here because he's saying that, hey, if you know, you know. Okay.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You want the Steelers to finish atop the division.
Yeah.
To me, it's not much more complicated than that. You guys used to cite that as a goal, not just so that you could wear the T-shirts all week.
No.
Although you had T-shirts.
We did have T-shirts, and the T-shirts is also a legacy, and like that right there is a tradition thing too, DK, because you want to collect 4: your division. No, what is it? Your division, AFC Championship. How does it go? Division or 3 shirts? Division, AFC Championship, then Super Bowl. You want to get all 3. They're just like trophies themselves. So that's essentially what you're getting yourself into when you talk about like the T-shirts and what they mean.
I'm trying to think about the 4th shirt. The 4th hypothetical shirt would be here. Let's take
Super Bowl.
Let's take one more today. This one comes from Richard, who says, "Hey, Mo, how difficult is it for a player such as Mike Williams or Preston Smith, who's traded in midseason, to learn a new playbook?" Now, I would imagine that for Preston Smith, it's, hey, Preston, you know that thing you did in Green Bay? And where you go and tackle the quarterback, that's the play, okay? Yeah. But where Mike Williams is concerned, there's routes, there's timing, there's stuff to do this week, isn't there?
Yeah, for a defensive player, I think it's a little bit easier. It's just knowing your gaps and where you got to be at and how you got to get there too, and responsibility of it. I'll be honest with you, Richard, not that tough is what I was saying. Now, I say this only playing in one system. Some coaches overcomplicate their calls. I was actually looking for John Gruden's play call. He always went super long with it, but each play has a breakdown. So I see one right here. It's spider 2 wide banana. All right. Oh, here it is. The entire call. Green right strong, slot spider 2 wide banana.
Everybody's heard of spider Y2 banana.
So here's the thing about the breakdown of offensive play callings. Most offensive structures are essentially the same. You got all your gaps, 0 all the way to 8 and 1 all the way to 9. The route tree is essentially the same. How you pair them up in protections usually only goes in one group. So green right, strong. That's the formation. I'm sure it's right strong with either tight end or wide receiver. Slot is telling you that the slot is also probably to the right side. Spider 2, I'm not sure what that is. That's to the wide receivers. Wide banana. Like the way it plays breakdown is the structure of it. Pro right, pro left.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Pro right or pro left. 76, that would be the protection of the offensive line, or 26, which is the run for the running back. There will be a zig or zag for the wide receivers. And then there's also the numbers that each receiver can get. Like we'd had just a simple call, Black Cadillac. That's the entire play. That's all I needed to know on Black Cadillac. That is 77 protection. Me and Al are man-to-man on the left side, and Pouncey slides to the right. If it was 76, Pounce slides to the left with me and Al, and the right side is one-on-one. I don't hear everything else built off the route.
You're waiting for one piece.
I'm waiting for, hey, trips. That lets me know, okay, which way? Right. Okay, if it's right, 76. Whatever is after that, all I need to hear is on 1, on 2, on 3. So as far as him digesting it, it really ain't that hard. It's a matter of they'll keep it simple for him the first week or so, but it won't be overly complicated. I like this football one-on-one stuff right here.
Oh, it's so in your wheelhouse. You're gonna go start taping up your ankles and wrists here before long. Here, when we come back, we're gonna take care of some business on the Ramon Foster Show while he gets suited up.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Got to thank people for coming in here with all the mega gifts, including the one who wished everybody a happy Humo Day. Paulie came in with 5. That's appreciated. The barber came in with 10. Barber never stops. He just keeps coming in, and then he goes with another 10, and then he's like, well, wait a second, I can also do 5, right? And then he goes, okay, well, here's 5 more. So Barber was he was unearthing his inner Rochelle on all this. Thanks to everybody for the support of the program. The best and steadiest way to support this show is to make sure that you're a member. Make sure your name is showing up in green on here. That gives you a great chance to actually have your thing addressed on here, meaning whenever you ask Ramon a question. That's at dkps.net/join, or make sure that you can accept gift memberships from the generosity of these people that I just mentioned here. What are you laughing about over there?
Less of music, man, comes in and says, "Are Barber and Rochelle a thing?" Like, y'all,
that's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
Come up with anything, man.
But we had a request here from someone who was asking if I can find this here. They basically want to know what your feeling is about the game coming up this week.
It's a go on Washington. Solid. Washington has gone out and got Marshon Lattimore. Like, they feel exact same way about their squad as we do ours, man.
Why wouldn't they? It's been forever for them.
Yeah, I know. And Coach Tomlin is from that area, that DMV area, man, from that DC area too. So this one hits a little bit more for him, I'm sure, and just the spirit of it. So I'm doing all that to get into a score, right? They have a high-scoring offense. But on the opposite side, our defense plays ball well, okay? Our second in points given up. Jaden Daniels is sticky moving around the pocket. I actually have this one high scoring for both of them, though, DK.
Oh.
I do. Give me, heck, the last 2 weeks, Russ has scored over 30.
Yes, he has. And before that, Justin did.
He did. It's 3 straight weeks of it. Give me 27-23.
4. Okay.
27-23 Steelers. And
that'd be one wonderful result.
They get to the young fella, man, Jaden Daniels, I think a good bit this week. He's already somewhat banged up. Probably shouldn't have played last week with the rib injury that he had going on too, on that Hail Mary play, whenever that was, man. But this defense should get after them this upcoming weekend, DK. And this is where having Mike Williams and them having Marshon Lattimore, I think, pays its dividends, where they're going to have to decide. It might not be a George type of weekend is where I'm at. George Pickens, that is. This is where the person asked a question earlier about Pat Freiermuth. I feel confident in that, DK.
Dale comes in. He's trying to bully us here to end the program. He says, I'll join for a year, but only when you stop calling people names like Uncle. He's trying to change the way this thing goes around here, Moan.
I like that.
I don't know that that's going to happen.
It ain't, because here's the thing about it. The uncles, we just sit to the back room and bring them a plate till later. You can't come fraternize with us, okay?
It's cold, too.
Yeah, it is cold. And you get no ice in the Kool-Aid, man. Stop.
A lot like our approach to this. It's cold. The food that we serve to the uncle's table is cold.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's see, Jay Moves is even coming in. Chill, Unc. See, that's what we say. Chill, Unc. See the crowd.
I can't do that. See, now, I would say be calm, Uncle.
Chill, Unc. Yeah, you got to hold a hand up, too. Hey, chill, Unc. Like, be cool. Hey, Uncle Dale, man, you're welcome regardless, man. If you get it for a year, we thank you. If you get it for a month, we thank you too. Or don't get it at all, you still are appreciative. We're still appreciative of you, okay?
The barber's bringing you a drink in a styrofoam cup back there too. So become a member. It's 99 cents. Just do it. You know,
we're cheaper. We're cheaper than some of the apps you spend on your phone. Come on, Unc, chill now.
Now we're all stuck. All right, guys, listen, we'll be back with another show. We'll figure it out because I got to travel back from Landover. We're shooting for Monday, though. That's the goal.
Yeah, we should be good to go.
All right, we'll keep you all informed.
No doubt. Y'all know how this goes. 27-23 Steelers this upcoming weekend. But coming up on this weekend, man, let me say this first. We're all Americans. You get it. I get it. We're here. Hey. Love one another. Call somebody you ain't talked to in a very long time. Apologize to somebody you have some beef with out of nowhere, okay? Buy somebody a random drink. Have a random conversation. Shake somebody's hand you never would think you would. But at all costs, man, love each other. Make it back to us on Monday. And here we go, Steelers. And happy Humo Day. Peace.